rocks everywhere. You get to Tillamook Bay, you're going to see how tiny it is. And it looks big, but it's not. It's very shallow. And they used to get, Garibaldi used to load up the timber that needed to be in Portland on special barges, and they'd take it in narrow, wait till high tide, and go down the channel, weaving through the rocks, cross the bar out into the open ocean, all the way up to Astoria, and then they would have to cross the bar in the Columbia Bar, which is the single most dangerous bar on the planet, and then upriver all the way to Portland. And it took many days, sometimes weeks to get there, if the cargo was up there at all. There were many accidents, the barges were all over, the cargo went everywhere. So, this is before there were trucks and trailers, so the natural solution was a railroad. They built the railroad between 1906 and 1911. The Southern Pacific, like what they saw well enough, in 1915 they bought the entire operation, and the Southern Pacific renamed it the Tillamook Branch Line. They operated until 1990 when they sold it to McClure to Tillamook Bay, and they operated as a freight line until 2007. 2007 there was a storm, one of these Pineapple Expresses. They start off the coast of Hawaii, blast across the Pacific and slam into the coast. 2007 we had a Pineapple Express that brought more than 7 inches of water in less than 24 hours. Absolutely devastated the San Jose River. Her bridge went into the water, with massive landslides and tore everything up, cutting us off from the North American transportation system. We're still cut off. That makes us what they call a railroad island. We're not connected to the main system. And we could put it back together, but it cost about $80 million to do that, so that's not happening anytime soon. Now before that, 2003, one of the employees of the port decided the line was so pretty, really deserved the tourist railroad. So he started in 2003 with one locomotive and one car. In his first season, he had 2,300 passengers. And last year, we had over 56,000 passengers. So very happy about this. This year, we changed up the schedule, putting on more trains, specialized trains, that sort of thing. Our target this year is 70,000 passengers, so that's something to strive for. Now you may be wondering how it is we're motoring along. The engineer can clearly not see where we're going. That's because the conductor is on the back of the train, the rear observation platform. He can see very clearly, and he's got a dump valve, so dumping air out of the brakes to stop the train in emergency. He also has a handheld whistle, so he can sound at every crossing as we come along. You might be able to hear that as we go along. And of course, he's got a radio so he can talk to the engineer. Now the last car that went furthest from the locomotive is called the NIAC. It's a Harriman car built in 1911. Harriman was the chairman of the board of directors for the Union Pacific for many years. He loved that style of vaulted roof with the trapezoid ends. He built a lot of those. We bought that car 3 years ago for the dinner train because it's got tables and chairs in it. And then we promptly stopped having a dinner train. Oops. But it's got a bar down one side. It's very convenient. We use it as a ticket office and as a gift shop. And we have specialty trains where we have beer and wine, so having a bar is very convenient. Also, we have other trains that have ice cream for the kids, and again, they're just very convenient for that. Pretty much have cargoes on the train year round at this point. The next car is called the Wilson car. It is a commuter car built in 1924, so it's 100 years old. We built it for the Southern Pacific Company for their commuter service between San Francisco and San Jose. We got it 20 years ago. It was in absolutely terrible condition. Had multiple mechanical problems. All the glass was broken out, and many of the seats were torn out. So it took us a year to get the whole thing apart, fix the mechanical problems, put it back on the train. We're very, very happy with that car. The next two cars started out in the 1930s as flat cars hauling freight. We added 6 inches of concrete to the deck to make the car heavier so the road smoother. We had benches and guardrails so you could sit and not fall out. Very foolishly, we added an awning to this car up here because we thought it would keep the rain out. It does not. The rain just went straight to the windows. It was completely wasted effort. It does keep the sun out a little bit, so that's something, but yeah, the rain just, no.
Yeah, we
get between 100 and 110 inches of rain every year. We don't really have a wet season, dry season. Every month of the year, pretty much either rain, snows, or we get heavy fog, we bring moisture. But that's why everything is so green and pretty here, just because we get moisture year round. So that's the cars. The only thing left is the locomotive. There's anybody want to hear about the locomotive? Anybody? Show of hands. Who wants to hear about the locomotive? Okay, I'll talk about the locomotive. It's built in 1925 by the American Locomotive Company, or ALCO as it's commonly called. It is a prairie type. It's a 262. There's two leading wheels, 6 driven wheels, and 2 trailing wheels. That makes it a prairie type. ALCO only ever built 4 prairie type locomotives ever. That's the first one they built, and it's by far the largest. It was originally built for the Cloud River Railroad, and operated out of Mount Shasta area. It was a logging railroad, so the tracks were very steep, and they wind it up, they get the logs and bring them down to the sawmill.
Thank you.
They operated for many years, very happy with it. And after World War II, everybody was switching to diesel electric. So in 1955, they took it out of service. They scrapped all of the other steam locomotives except for that one. And they would bring it out like 2 or 3 days a year for 3 days, taking families and tours and things. At some point in time, they sold that locomotive to a tourist operation, which promptly went bankrupt, so they got the locomotive back. They sold it to somebody else who went bankrupt, they got the locomotive. This happened several times, actually. At one point, it was in Stockton, California, where it was for 2 movies. One was called Bound for Glory, and the other one was called Stand By Me. Now, maybe some of you may remember maybe the famous scene where the 4 kids are running across the bridge and the steam locomotive is chasing them. It was that locomotive terrorizing small children. It is oil-fired. Never was coal, thank goodness. Coal makes a heck of a mess. You just walk past a coal-powered locomotive, your clothes will ruin. Anyway, the oil we use is recycled motor oil from cars. You go to a car oil changing place, they take it, they process it, they take the metal shavings out, and then reburn it in locomotives. We got it in 2011. We've been very happy with it. Unfortunately, our operation certificate expired 18 months ago. We had to take the whole thing apart, and I mean completely apart. They took the cab off, they took the cladding off, down to the boiler, and we finally, at one point I looked at it, I asked the mechanic, "Are you sure you can get this back together again?" And he was like, "Yes." Fortunately, he took about 2,000. Oh, wait, pick the hearing on the water side. There we go. There's a couple that hang out here. Anyway, we got that locomotive back on the service 6 weeks ago. On the train. Does anybody have any questions about the locomotive, the cars, and history of the? All right, if you do, feel free to ask, and I will tell you what I know, or I'll make something up. In the meantime, just please enjoy the view. I'm going to see some wildlife. The view. Thank you.